Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the channel. I am Review It Rob. Appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me and check out this review today. The film I'm going to be talking about is a movie called Undertone. This is the latest film from A24. It is a horror movie, of course, and I'm going to give you my spoiler-free takes on that film, man. So without further ado, for you YouTube viewers, I'm throwing that poster up for you to check out while I go over some of the details here. So the film itself is rated R. It's rated R mostly for the language in the film, but there's also some disturbing content and thematic elements in the movie. Film runs in at 1 hour, 25 minutes, and is classified as a horror, mystery, thriller, man. So if you've been with me for a while, you know I like to call that the trifecta of awesome, the horror, mystery, thriller. And again, I apologize if I sound a little nasally. I am getting over a sickness, man. So there you go. That is your details on this movie. Be upfront with you as far as this film goes. You're probably either really going to love this movie or really hate this movie. You can kind of be in between for the most part, but I think a lot of people either really hate this movie or really love this movie, man. So, going into the basic idea, this is not like a one shot movie, but it's a one location film. Throughout the movie, you're going to be following a singular person. Now, there are two other people involved in the movie, and voices and stuff like this. 'Cause this movie very much involves around audio, but you're basically seeing one person the majority of the film. Our main character here, the host of the podcast. We hear her co-host volume, but the idea of the movie itself is that these co-hosts of a podcast are doing audio paranormal show podcast, if you will. You've probably listened to some, so you know the idea there, and they end up getting 10 anonymous freaking audio recordings sent to them. Don't know who it's from, email they can't figure out, and all that stuff, and they decide to listen to these on air and listen to them in real time. And in the process of listening to these 10 things, they hear disturbing things throughout the whole time, and a lot of chaos and just spooky, demonic stuff ends up happening around them while this audio is playing, is basically the whole idea of this movie. You could have seen that in the trailer as well and all that. So it's basically the idea of this movie, and why I say you're going to either love it or hate it. You're either going to love the idea, the concept of this, or you're going to be very annoyed of the simplisticness of the film where you're just in one singular location, you're following one person the majority of the time, and all that stuff. So it is going to be a very decisive movie between people as far as how they feel about it. But how did I personally feel about this movie? So I thought the concept was pretty interesting, man. I remember seeing this trailer in theaters, and I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting idea," and all that stuff. And what I really like that they do in this movie is the way they play with the audio. Like, so anytime you see, I'm wearing headphones. Anytime she goes into the podcasting portion of the movie, and she puts her headphones on, they make the noise of the audio fading into like a headphone sound for all you, and you feel like you got headphones on while you're in the movie theater listening to it. I thought that was a really cool creative decision that they did with it. And it works very well, especially in the thriller aspects of what's going on and the way they play with the sounds and the noises you're hearing while watching this movie, and what's going on with the screen and how it's pantomiming around the room and all that stuff. I think we've all kind of had this moment where you've been alone by yourself in a house at one point in time and just darkness or something like that, and you're watching a movie or whatever and just darkness, but you feel like this paranoia sometimes around you and just feel like this ickiness, or you feel like you heard something from somewhere else, or there's just that other vibe kind of thing. That's kind of mostly what this movie is playing on while you're hearing these audio things going on. That because again, it's very basic of what you're looking at. You're looking at her with headphones on while she's listening to the podcast. So she's reacting to the sounds. You're hearing what they're hearing, and you're hearing them also give back and forth about what they think's going on. Is it real? Is it made up? What's going on here? Is it believable? Do we trust it? Can we believe this? All that stuff. What is going on? Is there like under layers of some kind of um, history of audio being tampered with and stuff like that, kind of things going on at the same time, and they're playing with that aspect. And then again with the camera, the way it's moving around the room and looking in certain room and areas and all that stuff to lend to the paranoia of what you're feeling while hearing the noises. Very cool, very interesting, very awesome. I dug that stuff, man. The other aspect of this movie, like I mentioned, there's three main characters you're playing with here. It's her, their main character, her co-host, who you'll hear every now and then when she does the podcast stuff, and then her mom that she's taking care of in the movie, who is just in the upstairs room, static and all that stuff, going through an illness now that can't really take care of herself, so her daughter's taking care of her in the film and all that. So that's again one location and all that stuff, which I kind of like. I like that vibe of being stuck in this one area and just dealing with the reality of the situation that they're in, and playing around in this very simple thinking where you're not making it overly huge and over the top, which kind of lends to the simplistic manner of what the movie actually is, just the basic idea of two people podcasting about, crazy things that are going on in the world, and paranormal stuff and horror stuff and all that. So I like the way that works, and I like when we get into that stuff, and I think they do a really good job with the thrill aspect and the mystery aspect, because when you're listening to the audio that they're listening to, when you're listening to it with them, like, you're like, what is going on? What is the whole thing and vibe that's happening with all this stuff? And what is it? Is it people just messing with these podcast hosts and just making stuff up to send into them, or is this like reality? And this is a real thing that's happening and transpired. What are these creepy audio tapes that were mysteriously dropped off and sent to them? And how is it all going to be real? And just the way it plays out and all that stuff through the movie, I thought was very well done and very well executed and all that stuff, man. So overall, like, Undertone is one of those movies that I think is going to be, again, very divisive on people, how people feel about it. There will probably be people who say it's boring, and I will be right up front with you. I think the movie would have been best suited as like a short film, where it was just the podcast stuff. Nothing against her taking care of her mom and all that stuff. I get the story element and the overall arcing element storyline, what they're telling with that, and what it leads into with the audio and everything that's going on throughout the movie. I understand what they're telling, but I think it would have been better if it was just the podcast and them listening to that stuff and just playing all that. It would have been better suited as a short film, if you know what I'm saying. But overall, it was still worked in a way. But I would be lying to you if I didn't have moments where the seat I was sitting to was like right next to a bar. So where I was on a bar, like that, like there was moments, sorry, audio people, but there was moments where I did get a little bored, and it did feel a little repetitive at some points. But overall, I thought the movie was pretty dang solid, man. Like, it works very well. It plays very well on the sound effect, which is exactly what you need for what the movie you're putting together to do. So it does a very good job with the sound effects and the aspect of what they're doing with the camera work and all that stuff, and being spooky and demonic. Like, I'm glad I saw this movie in theaters, honestly, to have that huge sound around me, and the visual effects and the feeling of being in this big area when there's certain moments where it goes just silent, right? I couldn't have been sick when I was doing that. That would have sucked to be trying to hide a cough, when it gets quiet in the movie, like, you know. So um, I like a lot of the things they did with this movie. I enjoyed it a lot and all that stuff. I don't know where it's going to land as far as end of the year or anything like that, but I like what they did. I think they were creative in what they're doing with a basic, idea, right? Again, don't want to overly harp on it, but the whole idea is just listening to spooky audio, you know, which, again, a lot of people do. A lot of people love listening to horror podcasts, especially murder podcasts and stuff like that. So taking that idea, throwing it in here, adding a horror element, thematic horror element in behind all of it, the creativeness of what they're doing with the audio that you're hearing and feeling while you're watching the movie, pretty freaking solid, man. So again, I'm glad I did take the risk to see this movie in theaters, because I've seen a lot of people say it was very boring and not good and all that stuff. That's again why I always harp on never not seeing a movie if you're interested enough in seeing it. Like, don't worry about Rotten Tomato scores and all that stuff. Make the opinion. Movies are extremely subjective. They're extremely subjective. And I could love a movie that you hate. You could hate a movie that I love. So be it. That's just the way it's always going to be when it comes to movies, man. And just take that chance. You could end up enjoying this a lot. But yeah, man. Overall, I think Undertone is a pretty solid movie. Glad I saw it in theaters. Glad I took that experience. Had that experience with this movie. Um, Better would have been better suited, I think, as a short film, but it still works in the elements that they did do it. A little bit of lag moments, but overall, decent movie, man. So if you're wanting to see Undertone, I would suggest checking it out for sure. It is definitely worth your time. I don't know how much longer it'll be in theaters. I think it came out on our last Friday the 13th we had. Yeah, it came out on the 13th. So back in last month. So uh, it's been in theaters for a little bit. I don't know how long it will stay in theaters, but if you want to go see it in theaters, absolutely go do it. And again, having the big sound in there, the big element, and just the darkness that you get with the movie theater, it plays very well with this movie, man. But overall, I liked it. I'm glad I saw it. Um, Probably would watch it again, because again, it does give you that spooky paranoia thriller feeling. It's got its creepy elements, man. It definitely has its creepy elements. I can see how it works. Somebody commented on my post, man. When I posted, I saw this movie. He says one of the scariest movies they saw as well. So it's there. I know they market it as the scariest movie you'll ever hear. I think it says, no, it doesn't say it on that poster, but one of the posters says scariest movies you'll ever hear, which is a good tagline. Because again, Al is playing with audio and all that stuff. But nonetheless, we're going on. I liked Undertone. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. But again, it's going to be a very divisive movie for sure. But that is it, man. Before we get out of here, as always, like to remind you, you matter. You're capable of great things. Trust yourself. Be kind to yourself. And keep moving forward, man. You're gonna get there. Just give yourself some time. Excuse. I don't like being sick. You just give yourself some time, and you'll get there, and you'll be exactly where you're. Everything will work out, man. So trust yourself, believe yourself. You matter. You're capable of great things. And until next review, I'm gonna see you know, willing, getting through the sickness. I'm going to go see Mario this week, Super Mario Galaxy, and that'll be our next review here. But if you want to hear me, I do have a new episode, I think released the same day. Bad marketing of the Halloween Horror Night show. I do Into the Fog, Wolfman Rob, talking about the latest ticket stuff and all that. And I've got an answer about annual pass holders and if they can do it and all that stuff. So if you're into Halloween Horror Nights, that channel over there as well. But thank you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. Again, you matter. We'll be back with more reviews later.